Section 5, Video 8, Resource Management with Resource Pools. In this video, we look at resource pools and why we should use resource pools and their advantages. First of all, they provide a flexible hierarchical organization where we are able to add, remove, or reorganize resource pools or change resource allocations as required. This isolation between pools, allocation changes that are internal to one departmental resource pool do not affect other resource pools. Separation of resources from hardware or abstraction. If, as an example, 3 2 GB hosts are replaced with 2 3 GB hosts, there is no need to make changes to the resource allocation that is automatically calculated. This separation allows administrators to think more about aggregate computing capacity and less about individual hosts. So as long as those hosts are contributing to a centralized resource pool and the administrator is looking at the computing, CPU, and the memory available, we can then carve out additional resource pools and virtual machines and manage that in that manner. Management of sets of virtual machines running a multi-tier service. Resource pools allow changing allocation, and that affects all the virtual machines that are in that resource pool. That makes it easy from an administration point of view. Resource pools are consumers as well as provider of resources. As we discussed earlier, resource pools are able to consume resources from ESXi hosts as well as provide those resources to underlying child resource pools or virtual machines. As shown in the picture on the left, it's fairly easy to create a resource pool in Web Client. We simply select the cluster, right click, and select the new resource pool from the drop down list. On the right hand side, we get the dialog box that needs to be filled out. As you can see, we start off with providing a name for the resource pool, and we notice that the CPU and memory shares have the same concept as we looked at earlier in the shares section. The only thing that's different here is the reservation type, which, if selected to expandable, indicates that the child resource pool is able to borrow additional resources from the parent resource pool. In this graphic, we talk about nested resource pools. In the picture, we see an ESXi host with 6 GHz and 6 GB of computing resources available. We are able to carve out 2 resource pools, RPA and RPB, with the reservations listed here: 2 GHz of CPU and 2 GB of memory. Based on this allocation, we are then able to carve out or provision 5 virtual machines, 2 under RPA and 3 under RPB, and the configuration is determined by the resource allocation available to the parent resource pool. To summarize, we looked at resource pools and how they can help provide flexible allocation of resources as well as administration and ease of use. And we looked at creating and managing a resource pool using the web client. This concludes video 8 and section 5 of our series. Thank you for watching.